This is a whole ass vibe right now.
Welcome to Parallel Convergence. It's a bonus episode. I'm Andesian, and this guy over here, to my right, is an entirely complete and total utter asshole today. But we love him anyways because he is the number one in here at Not a Network Pods. It is Dr. Manhattan.
I mean,
I still love you anyway.
I'm about to say, I'm more of that pretty much every day. Tonight, I'm in a completely different mood.
But welcome to the bonus episode. If you were watching this last night, we kind of got cut short by a fire alarm.
Yeah, that was weird.
And because we got cut short by a fire alarm, we didn't cover two major things that we really wanted to get into last night, which is perfectly fine. Because that means bonus episode and bonus content for you guys. And this is actually going to be entirely worlds focused today. So, and probably a good thing, as yesterday was more of our general coverage show.
Well,
we do have some news that we've heard, some rumoring from Wooloo. We're not reporting on it quite yet because, a little bit too early. I'm not a fan of all of these roster changes happening right in the middle of fucking Worlds.
Well, I mean, it's in the middle of Worlds for everybody else. Just, it's the end of Worlds for teams who have, been eliminated.
Now, of course, The biggest thing that I want to talk about, and I actually listened to the Dive-phoria today, is I want to talk about a particular tweet. Now, before we do that, that means we have to check the tweets, right? Well, we have something new for Check the Tweets.
Tweeting, ephemeral, fleeting, Flugenweb, face code, split zone, ask mode, checks the tweets, 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 und also emails.
Yes, that's right. Check the tweets.
Und also the emails.
I'm not drunk enough for this shit.
I'm not drunk at all, but I'm good to go.
You are high enough for me to be right about shit today.
Yes, I am.
Oh crap.
Don't tell me you had this whole big badass setup and then you actually borked the continuance to the main story.
I borked the tweet. And the emails. By the way, speaking of emails, if you would like to send some hate mail, like our buddy JTN here, if you would like to send some hate mail about how totally off the rails and not professional we are today, you can send your hate mail to @HEB the Eagle on Twitter, because here on Parallel Convergence, we would like to
try and be professional,
but we have nothing to shtick but shtick itself. So there it is. Here's the tweet, though. Vanderol, if you're in the league community, you know who the hell Vanderol is. I mean, hell, it says it right there. Bug enthusiast. How much more bug enthusiast can you get? Like, it's bug enthusiast.
I mean, playing the role played by Vincent D'Onofrio in the original Men in Black.
I mean, that would also be a bug. You know what? I'm gonna need him. Oh wait, JT is already on top of that for us. And since he is joining us tonight, where is your St. Louis organist when you need him? Hey, guess what? We got you covered, buddy. Oh wait, that's on point of viewer. Hold on, I don't feel like moving. So, why is that uploaded to point of viewer and not here?
You're the one who uploaded it, not me.
Whatever. I hope you're happy. All right, so we all remember the coronary infarction-inducing game that was GAM versus Top Esports.
Ooh.
So apparently there is a major bug that has occurred here that appears to have eliminated top esports from Worlds. In that final Nexus fight, here's the clip here. All right, because that is driving me nuts, but not you guys, because I didn't turn on the audio for once.
I heard it. It was just very weird sounding.
There shouldn't have been any audio there because I disabled the audio.
Oh.
Here's the second part of the clip. So, Lucian had a Mauve Malmortius, right? And we'll blow up the image here. Hey, blowing up an image. Woohoo, we can do stuff. Did that audio really come through? I thought I turned the audio off. Whatever, don't care.
I muted myself, but yes, it did twice.
Let's try that again. Oh, okay. When you share a Chrome tab on StreamYard, it automatically turns the audio on by default.
Yes.
Of course it does. Yet when I share a whole ass window, I have to check the little tiny, teeny, weeny little box. It's hard to, and it's easy to miss. Otherwise, nobody hears my freaking video.
I mean, no, I'm going to spare you that one.
The tinier the box, the better?
No, I mean, trying to find tiny things that shouldn't be too hard to miss.
We need the phrasing button on this one. We really do. Instead, you get this.
Yes!
Anyways, breaking into this bug here, right? We can see the actual for Lucian tooltip here for Mauve Malmortius. Upon taking magic damage, it would reduce health below 30%, gain a 510 damage magic damage shield, or a 510 magic damage shield for 5 seconds. When Lifeline triggers, gain 10% Omnivamp, so lifesteal, until end of combat. And end of combat is pretty much once you've stopped auto-attacking or doing anything combat-related for, I think it's like 5 seconds. As you can see, he's got 100 MR. Karthus ults top esports, right? That was that first clip that we saw with the weird white lights of beam coming down. Lucian takes 924 damage. The Maw activated. The item goes on cooldown, right? But the shield does not proc. And you can go back, and I'm going to blow this up here. So you can't see. Oh, yeah, you can see my cursor on the screen. Excellent. So keep an eye on this third icon right here. Right where it's pointed at. Right? And I'll hit space. So watch that icon. See how it goes from illuminated to darken. That means
Mhm.
the passive proc, and the timer's ticking down on it now. But now pay attention to the actual clip, because if the shield had activated, you would have seen a shield come on Lucian's body. And he's up here. So, no shield. Ball goes on cooldown. Now, I'm not going to sit here and mathematically analyze this down any further than it's already been mathematically analyzed. And trust me when I say enough people have this is going to go down as one of those top 10 mathematically analyzed plays of all time at Worlds. Like that one play back in 2016 where the guy hit the minion on Elise instead of hitting the Nexus, and that's what caused him the game. Like, that's the kind of level of analysis we're looking at here on this. But the long and short of the mathematical analysis that has occurred is that had the Mauve Malmortius shield procced properly, yes, the set would have ulted, but he gets a heal from the Nami, right? Who will blow it up in this clip there. There's the Nami. Nami throws the W on Lucian. He gets a little bit of a shield from Mark's Aerie, and he gets a little bit of a heal, right?
Mhm.
The set, who is full tank, I mean, where is the set on this thing here? Mid lane set, he's got a Dead Man's, a Force of Nature, and an upgraded Frostfire Gauntlet. Right? This guy's got no damage. There ain't no way in hell, right, that even with the ultimate, that Lucian is going to, or that Set is going to finish off Lucian, because Lucian's got about 500 HP, right? The Lucian would have had his dash up, which is his E, in about a second or two. He can dash towards the Nexus, get the double empowered auto attack that he gets from his passive, and that could have very well easily finished the Nexus off for top esports. I mean, I look at this clip and I'm just like, it is absolutely heartbreaking. And even the league community is kind of just sitting here like, man, this sucks. This was the game in the tournament, and now I can't even say it's the game in the tournament because it got decided on a bug. Now, a lot of people are going to sit and say, oh, well, Riot, what is Riot going to do? Riot should be aware of this by now. Oh, I'm pretty damn sure they're aware. Right? I mean, the casters are talking about it on fucking Riot podcasts, right? Like the Diephoria is Riot's official podcast. At least during Worlds, it's called Diephoria because they merged the NA podcast, which is the Dive, and Euphoria, which is the EU podcast. So what can Riot do here?
Can I take a stab at the dark and say at this point, Dog Piss Jones?
You're not wrong. I think it's Dogfish Jones from the word go, because honestly, unless this is caught, between, the end of that game and the next game, then what can Riot do, right? A lot of people are like, oh, well, if the rest of those had remained the same, then Top Esports would have been in a 3-way tie. They probably would have taken down Rogue and, gone on to quarterfinals instead. But the problem with bug reporting, right? And this is something that the pot or the Dive Foria talked about earlier. The only reason why we see remakes and chrono breaks and, pauses for bugs on the world stage is because of expected behaviors not occurring. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, I'm playing Anivia. I take some trades. I end up dying. My egg passive is supposed to be up, and my egg doesn't proc, and I just die. Right? That's a bug. Or at least as far as Riot's concerned, that's a bug. For the sake of competitive integrity argument. An expected behavior that was supposed to occur, I died, I should go into passive egg form and have a chance to revive, did not occur. Now, obviously, with every bug and every circumstance where there's a pause, especially one that impacts the outcome of the game, there's a very strict set of rules that must be followed, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would argue half of one of the sections of the actual game rules is dedicated to exactly that. As I move over here to, I'm going to share the rules tab real quick. Stoppage of play, restart and recovery, chrono break ability, remake procedure. There's a good 4 or 5 pages. I mean, you could argue 8 pages, the entire section, just of the rule book, just on how to handle a bug. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, again, expected behavior. In the heat of the moment of a Nexus defense, right? Now, I know this is probably going to sound sacrilege to some of our listeners. You have not played a game of League of Legends. You were that statistical analysis looking in the window kind of thing. But in the heat of the moment, trying to defend your Nexus, you're literally hitting every button on your keyboard, and you are just hyper focused into stop them from winning the game in that second. The last thing on your mind is, oh shit, my maw didn't proc properly from the Karthus ult.
Which is really, very, very sensical.
Because there is a section in the rules here. It says, World Championship event officials may utilize Chrono Break at any time or restart any game if officials in their sole and absolute discretion believe that such an action is necessary to preserve the best interest of the tournament. One could argue, in fact, I will argue, that right there, this 8.7 in the rule book, Riot could have said, yeah, the game was over, but it was decided on the back of a game-breaking bug. You're going to go back and remake the whole game. You're going to replay the whole game. Because they wouldn't have been able to chrono break the game since it was over. At least my understanding of how chrono break works is it can only work if an actual game is loaded, right? Once it's over, it's over. But I honestly believe that if it had been caught in the moment, Riot could have been well within their right to say, okay, this is a remake. Because that is what Riot would call a terminal situation. Because one of the teams was significantly disadvantaged by the bug.
Because of the timing of that moment, I would definitely agree. And
now,
for something like this, I mean,
hey, wonderful. Somebody finally found their keys 3 days later.
I mean, there's something
they
that
were
Riot...
very worse than Miami's quarterbacks as of late.
This is not the Broadhurst Watkins Sports Report.
Sports in black and white.
Available tomorrow, if not preempted by World's coverage. I'm surrounded by assholes.
I'm at least being nicer for now.
Where's a good dark helmet clip when I need one?
Because I was going to say is, with what Riot can do going forward, now granted, this is going to mean absolutely nothing for what happened this time. They can at least review, similar to how with the NFL, they go ahead and they automatically review scoring plays. Granted, it would mean a slightly longer broadcast day, which, for better or worse, it would be a thing. But in cases like this, they could automatically review just the periods leading up to when the Nexus goes down. So moments like that specifically, where you and I can agree, that's where these kind of bugs would matter the most. If they go back and review and say, all right, everything is good, you go and move us forward. But if they implement a review system and they catch something like this, that's something to be like, hey, wait a minute, this is a thing.
Well, I know there's already been some talk on social media, namely Twitter, for Riot to automatically invite top esports back next year. I don't know how that's going to work, because if top esports is utter crap next year, then I think that violates the integrity of the tournament.
You have precedent. For example, in
if
soccer,
they go 2-18 or whatever the normal, because that's a Chinese team, if I'm not mistaken. And their domestic thing is weird. They're non-standard. But if they fall at the bottom of the standings next year, but they have this automatic into Worlds, right? I think that's arguably worse than bringing in minor region top seed teams. You're literally just providing cannon fodder. They're probably going to have them take up one of the slots that's already granted to China, to the LPL.
What I would suggest, it's twofold. Number one, precedent. Copa Libertadores. Many years ago, a Mexican team, one of the top Mexican teams, because of a viral situation at the time, pre-COVID, they were like, hey, we've got all this going on. We can't find a place to play. We got to bow out. The organizers said, fine, you go ahead. You will get that exact same seed next year. Precedent for that. Suggestion to counter that and keep with competitive integrity. Do something like what the, as of time of recording, current format of the FIFA Club World Cup does. If you have a team that would have normally qualified in that spot that TES would take, have TES play that team, even make it a best of 5 if you want. Winner gets that spot, whatever it may be.
Yeah, Top Esports was the number 2 seed out of China.
Okay.
They got in on championship points.
Okay. So if they don't qualify or come close to that based on their merit, say, hey, because of these circumstances, these two Chinese teams would play a best of 5. Winner gets that seed.
Yeah, but if you're the regional final winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just, let's say you're EDG because they're the regional finals winner. They're the number 3 seed. And they're like, hey, you got to play Top Esports in order to secure your seed for Worlds, even though you just won the regional finals. You just won the postseason. Is that not a bit unfair to EDG?
A little bit. I will give you that.
It's like, oh, hey, if you have a bad day or you get out drafted on a best of 5 for whatever reason, just one time, doesn't matter that they've been shit all season, but just one time, congratulations, because they got affected by a bug last year. They get to steal your spot.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily give it to them if they've been shit all season. But if they're within a certain amount anyways.
I think if here's what I would do. I would give them, because China has 4 seeds, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would give them automatic 4th seed.
Okay.
Because they're forced to play through play-ins.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th seed is the regional finals runner-up. So the off-season or the postseason runner-up for China. Because the way the regional finals works in the LPL, it's the top 4 teams that have not already qualified for Worlds
Mm-hmm.
participate in a simple tournament, like simple bracket tournament, best of 5s.
Yeah.
To see who goes. The person that gets first place gets the 3rd seed. The team that gets 2nd place gets the 4th seed. The winner of summer playoffs gets the first seed qualification, and then championship points determine the second seed. The winner of the summer playoffs automatically qualifies for World's 2022 main event as China's first seed. The team that has accrued the most championship points over the 2022 season and wasn't automatically qualified by being the winner of summer playoffs also qualifies for the main event of 2022 of World 2022 as the second seed. So this year, JDG had 30 championship points in spring. They won summer, so they automatically qualified. Top Esports had 70 in spring and 110 in summer, so they had 180. So they qualified as the second seed. And then RNG had 130. Edward Gaming had 90. Victory 5 had 80. Those four teams went into the post season, the regional finals, and battled it out to see out of those four which of the two were going to Worlds. Now, it would eliminate the regional finals for China for a year by giving somebody an automatic birthing. So they would probably have to do automatic qualification to the winner of summer, and then top two championship points that are not automatically qualified get second and third seed, because both of those are main event seeds. But I think the easier way to fix the problem that I think is still fair to the region and the team, at least as fair as you're going to get, is you would pay out prize pool payment to Top Esports as if they made it to quarterfinals and got knocked out.
Okay. Fair.
So it bumps them up from. Let me take a look here because I know event prize. Because I know it's in the rules. So it would bump them up from. What was the eventual standings in that group? Let me pull up our tracking sheet here, and that'll tell me. So, Top Esports was in third place.
So that would bump them up from what is like 2.5.
So they would have, instead of 2.5% of the prize pool, they would get an extra 2%. So 4.5% of the prize pool.
It's a good chunk. Good chunk.
I mean, when the prize pool is $2,225,000.
That's how much the final number came up to?
No, that's the base. That's the base. Look,
I
right
thought
here.
so. I thought so.
And then I think they said 20%, 40%, something like that.
25, I think.
It's somewhere between 25 and 40% of the world's passes, the world's event passes inside of the client, because they're doing that instead of the world skin now. Will go to the prize pool. I mean, we've seen similar setups in the past, and the prize pool's gotten into the $5 million range. So like I said, I think that would be fair and equitable to them. Is instead of them getting the 2.5%, they go up and they get the 4.5%. And here's why I've always said Riot doesn't care about breaking third or fourth place ties, because they're like, oh, you both have the same record. Yeah, we're not going to settle the head-to-head dispute. You're going to split the prize pool down the middle, 2.375% for each of you.
The old chopping it up.
That, I think, is the fairest way to solve this bug in the interim, right? Now, I want to go back for a moment because I had a rule highlighted on screen here. I have to find it again. Hold on. Terminal situation, minor bug, game of record. Here we go. Prompt reporting. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Once a player is aware of a bug, which, as defined, includes presumed hardware failures, the player is required to pause the game as soon as it is practical. For the avoidance of doubt, if a player audibly requests that a referee pause the game, even if the game's not immediately paused, player is considered to have requested a pause, so on and so forth. In addition, it may not be practical to cause an immediate pause upon recognizing the bug if, for example, the two teams are engaged with each other. In such cases, World's Championship event officials may determine that it was not practical to pause the game until the engagement ended. In the case of this game, the engagement ends by the blowing up of a nexus.
Correct.
Which is just goes back and further reinforces what I said about them using their discretion and saying, hey, remake. But one of the players had to have brought this to the attention of a referee like immediately upon Nexus explosion. Because the rules also do indicate that it has to be a player to trigger a pause. Can't be a coach. So coach can't run to the referee right at post game when they've got their 12 minutes to do all of their post game stuff that they need to communicate with refs about, or case may be. Ref can't run up to, or coach can't run up to the ref. Hey, there was a bug there. You got to remake this game. But that, I think, is the only scenario in which, honestly, the situation would have got avoided and it been within the rules of the tournament, right? Is if a player immediately said on the headset, hey, ref, there was a bug in that last fight. Please review it. We want a remake. It would have been super awkward as hell to watch both teams sitting in their chairs, not talking, no victories, no coach coming out, nothing like that, while they review the game footage and everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
but I would have taken that awkwardness and the potential remake if it would have ended up in a fair fight and a fair match.
That is like the utopian sort of dream scenario.
Oh no, you're not wrong. But a lot of
And
people are out there saying, "Well, hey, you know, what is the best case scenario for Riot to realize there's a bug and to offer the remake or the chrono break?" Well, they can't chrono break, like I said, but it literally had to be Jackie Love or somebody else on his team, but the best argument would have come from Jackie Love.
mm-hmm.
Hey, I had Maw, the shield didn't proc, it went on cooldown, I could have E-dashed forward and blew the Nexus.
And this is why I say it's about the feasibility to be able to exercise that sort of scenario. Because, and I get time sensitivity, but going back to what you just said, in the heat of the moment and in the aftermath, you're not going to spot something like that immediately. But by the time you do and that you realize, the moment's gone.
Now, at the very end of the rule book, right? We have Riot's golden rule, as I like to call it. Whatever we say goes. And we don't have to follow the rules. Okay, maybe not that foreboding, but Riot does have a caveat in their rule book, which we can see here, 10.4, very last rule in the book. World Championship event officials at all times may act with the necessary authority to preserve the best interests of the event. This power is not constrained by the lack of any specific language in this document. And because it's happened in the past, World Championship officials may use any form of punitive actions at their disposal against any entity whose conduct is not within the confines of the best interests of the World Championship event. But between the rule on remakes and the rule on communicating a bug for a pause, I think Riot is well within their right to say, hey, let's go back and remake this game.
Mm-hmm.
If it could have been caught in a timely enough fashion, even if it was later on in that day, right?
Right.
They could have fit in. It would have been a long-ass broadcast day, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it has happened before. We saw it at MSI, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there is precedent here of, hey, they weren't playing within the rules. We're remaking these games in the name of competitive integrity. I think Riot can make that same argument here and say, hey, there was a bug that affected the outcome of a game that had seeding implications and, serious implications on this group. We're going to order a remake of that game, and depending on what happens, we may have to go to tiebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
If Top Esports had won that instead of GAM, that would have been a 3-way tie had the rest of that day stayed the same. So there would have been a tiebreaker regardless that day.
Right.
So, yes, you have to add 2 games onto your broadcast day instead of 1, but I think at the end of test versus DRX, you tell the teams, hey, Top Esports, I'm sorry, I know you just played 2 in a row, but you're going to have to play a third. Hey, congratulations. That's what this tournament's about. Mental and physical resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Let them replay the game, find out what happens. At the end of the day, though, I think it's very unfortunate. It's going to be one of those things where it's not like a giant asterisk, like, RNG winning MSI playing remotely on 35 ping with very little or no referee oversight.
Cough, cough, cough.
Kind of asterisk, but I mean, there is going to be an asterisk here. Especially when you're a team like Top Esports who was favored to win the tournament. Like, very heavily favored to win the tournament. Yeah, Jackie Love had some Dade moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Jackie Love is the duality of man almost. It's either, he's absolutely on fire or, he's pig slop in a bucket. Both very flammable, both for entirely different reasons. But let's say Top Esports got out, right? Just for a minute.
Yeah.
They would have drawn into, or actually, no, sorry. The tiebreaker would,
Because if it was a 3-way tie, then it would have been a stepladder tiebreaker.
would it have been a stepladder tiebreaker? Were they all at the same, I don't know if they were all at the same record.
I would have to have gone back and look at the foldy sheets to see, flip everything else, and then see what happened with that game reversed.
Well, if you do that, you'll see that it was a 3-way tie.
Yes. So then you would have had to go on to the head-to-head records.
So if you flip it to Top Esports,
Yes.
it's a 3-way tie.
So that's stepladder. Now the head-to-head results between those 3 teams would have determined like where they were on the stepladder, if I remember the rules correctly.
The only stepladder scenario is if one team has an aggregate record of 3-1, the next team is 2-2, and the third team is 1-3.
Then the 1 and 3 would play the 2 and 2.
Right.
And then that winner would play the 3 and 1. And then if the aggregate record between all 3 of those teams were 2 and 2, then it goes to fastest victory. if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Two-way tie, it goes to fastest victory.
No, I mean
Or
for
side selection goes to fastest victory.
for because the team with the slowest time would have played the team in the middle. Then the team with the middle would have had side selection, and then those two teams would have played the winner.
But no, in the step ladder, side selection always belongs to the team with the better aggregate record.
Well, then what happens if all the teams with all the aggregate record, it's a double circle of death?
What do you mean?
That all three of them are 2-2 against each other.
Each team in the tiebreaker that has a combined record of 2-2 against each other's, the teams with the highest total game victory time play one tiebreaker with side selection going to the team with the lower total game victory time.
So there's
So if everybody's 2-2 yet, it comes down to how fast did you play.
Exactly what I said. Either way, it's a step ladder.
Well, let's say for the sake of argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
That instead of Rogue getting out,
Mm-hmm.
it was Top Esports, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because DRX would have secured the top seed, so they wouldn't have been in that tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to Rogue, Top, and Gam to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Top Esports gets out instead of Rogue, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the quarterfinals, guess who you drew?
Rogue drew JDG.
Right. Who's at the top of the LPL?
Oh.
It's literally a remake. I'm not even kidding. It is literally a rematch of LPL 2022 finals. If it were JDG and Top Esports. And JDG won that 3-2. Top Esports, then this is why I say I think it's most equitable to give them quarterfinal placement money. Because it is a literal coin flip on if they get out of quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the historical data, because again, there's definitely historical data there to be found. JDG beat Top Esports twice because it's double elimination in the LPL.
So
JDG beat them 3-2 in the semifinals. They went to the losers bracket where they 3-0'd, where Top Esports 3-0'd EDG, came back to get a second shot at JDG again in the finals and lost 3-2 in the finals again.
So basically another likelihood of a 3-2 loss. You would say third time's a charm, but that still goes back to your coin flip argument, which I get it. Because even if they had done
third time's a charm. No, I say this is Worlds and teams play even more, or at least most teams. Well, I can't say that in good conscience, but teams do their best to play above and beyond their capabilities at Worlds. Some
Fair.
teams have an innate international buff.
T1.
And other teams just absolutely choke in international gameplay.
Mutter, NA, mutter.
So, yeah, I'm really sitting here looking at the domestic LPL results, looking at the way Top Esports played through the tournament so far, right? Because, yeah, they didn't look so hot at first. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, as much as I hate to say it, even if Top Esports got out and they took Rogue's spot instead, because again, let's assume everything else remained the same except for the fact that Top Esports got out instead of Rogue did. The quarterfinals draw remains the same, everything.
Right.
Because DRX got the first seed, just like they got the first seed over Rogue in the tiebreaker. So it doesn't change the fact that whoever's coming out of that tiebreaker would be the 2 seed out of the group. So it wouldn't have caused an invalid draw or anything like that. So, yeah, no, if they pulled JDG, if Top Esports pulls JDG instead of Rogue, I don't see it. And honestly, if Rogue wants a shot at winning this game, they've got to exploit the hell out of the weak side bot lane in JDG. And even then, I don't see that either. As we talk about our remaining 8 teams that are in the quarterfinals here.
I had a feeling that we would be going to those, and yeah, we'll save the player news for next time, like you said.
I genuinely feel bad for what happened to Top Esports. I really do. That is a hugely demoralizing way to leave a tournament, is to know that your fate was decided by a bug. One can only hope that with all the attention that's been, brought to this bug, right? That Riot will sit here and go, okay, we need to find out what caused this because we can't really afford to allow this to happen again next year.
Right.
Or really for this sort of bug to remain in the game as is. Because if teams can predict if teams can figure out how to replicate that bug, who's to say it isn't abusable, right? Especially if Riot can't figure it out. Because the teams are provided, for whatever reason, I can't ever figure out, I've never seen the list made official. But teams and coaches are provided with a list of skins and known champion interactions and bugs that Riot will not offer a chrono break or anything on if they're chosen and if they occur. It's like, we're warning you ahead of time. If you pick this, then we're not offering you a remake if this bug that is known to be on this champion negatively impacts you. And then there are certain bugs. There are certain skins that are just flat out banned from international play. What the hell am I being sent now? If this isn't more freaking star walking, I'm going to be pissed. I've been sent another TikTok by JTN. No, but okay, all right. That was kind of working.
I heard something King of the Hill.
Yeah, that was. It's King of the Hill on some sort of Asian banjo. It looks like. I will go back and watch it later. I thought that was more Star Walk. Damn you, Nielsen.
Well, I mean, I
thought
guess
that was actually important for a moment.
I guess he was mad because we didn't feature the latest. Refs should have ref balled when they didn't, back as we were wrapping up everything with that bug.
Well, here's the thing about ref ball and Riot. Riot does not ref ball. Like, the referees are literally there to watch the player monitors to make sure and to listen to the player communications to make sure they haven't snuck something in to run on the computers to give them an unfair advantage. Like, the refs are not really refs, they're more monitors.
Right.
If somebody does something that breaks a rule during the game, the refs will either address it immediately or, address it afterwards. Like, the refs are there to monitor all chat to make sure that people don't flame each other and say shit that's inappropriate that would get them fined. Like, shit. Literally. Like, Riot does not like profanity. On air, even though they're not on terrestrial television. Yeah, technically you can be fined for cursing in an interview or on air during Worlds.
Kind of stupid for the specific reason you mentioned about non-terrestrial television.
Riot tries to appeal to a broad audience stroke. But they're sponsored by Bud Light.
That's two. I'm not letting a third one go.
But they're sponsored by Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
The hypocrisy is beep. Mm-hmm. Riot Games has censored the previous statement because it's detrimental to Riot Games.
Yeah,
hate mail, send your hate mail to @HEB the Eagle.
They would try censoring me and they failed miserably. But
let's look at the remainder, or really our quarterfinals in general. We have a schedule, do we not?
Yes, we do.
It's time to check the schedule. Oh, wait, that's not a tweet. I can't play the clip.
Yet you just played 5 seconds of it anyways.
Ass mod. All right, let me find the damn thing here.
For the schedule, you say?
Yes. Boom. Of course, you get it up before I do.
I mean, sometimes when I'm in the right mood, the stars align, and I'm looking at the right stuff. It's easy.
Well, here we are. It's quarterfinals, and well, I believe we got a clip for quarterfinals. Famous last words.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Indeed, let's get ready to rumble. Riot once again proving that they're going to be lazy this year's tournament. And scheduling the games as they were drawn and not maximizing viewership. Not that you're already 40% down in overall viewership, which is why we probably won't have another tournament in North America for another 6 years. But
Whoa, wait a minute. 40 is in 40.
yes,
As in 2/5.
yes. Isn't 10 shy of half? As in 0.4.
As in 7 more than a third.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There have been some reports that are saying that overall viewership is down by 30% or by 40%, excuse me. So far. Hopefully knockouts will change that, but Eastern time zones definitely are finally feeling North America's pain for a change. Yes,
Yeah.
I said it. I don't care. We have to deal with 3 a.m. tournaments. Y'all can deal with the fucking 3 a.m. tournament for a change. Rogue versus JDG later today, because it's now technically Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Again, JDG's got a very weak bot side that if Rogue can exploit the hell out of it and play through their own bot lane, we could, and I say emphasis on could, see Rogue take this series. But they're going to really have to, Comp and Trimby are going to have to put Rogue on their shoulders and, beyond carry.
And realistically, I know we made our previous predictions. I don't see that happening. Because, even with a little bit of an advantage at times in side selection, seriously, the meta isn't that much of a buff to where you could do that 3 times.
It's an uphill battle for Rogue. I don't count him out of it, but I count him as highly unlikely to make it.
Yeah, I stand by what I say. This is going to be a quick one.
Now, I'm going to skip the next one on the list for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go to Saturday's matchup. Damn one, Kia. Damn one. Versus Gen G. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a battle. You have playmaker, showmaker, not faker. Look at the cleanse, look at the moves. Showmaker, what was that?
I'm going to make an executive decision.
Uh-oh. What? That only counts for a quarter?
3/4.
Oh. Why does that only count for 3/4?
Minor bit of a deduction because you didn't lean full in and you interrupted yourself with the opportunity of a monkey to make that one.
No, I was going there the whole time. You just sometimes try to give me a monkey a little bit too early.
I stand by my sentiment.
Ah. And I stand by the fan sentiment that you're fucking up the over-under.
I mean, technically, there's no likelihood for a push still.
But this is the battle of Korean powerhouses, right? This is... I got to pull up the Korean standings again. So, Gen G, first seed, automatic qualification to the Worlds, right? Fourth place team in regular summer season.
Mm-hmm.
Daewon Kia.
Okay.
In the summer playoffs, they did not have to face Gen G. But they got 3-2'd by T1. So that's how T1 got their seed. Which forced them to the regional finals. Because the LCK also uses a regional final system and championship points. Daewon Kia did manage to beat Live Sandbox. Sorry, this is... Some of these tournaments are weird, man. Some of these brackets are just weird. Daewon Kia beat Live Sandbox to get a seed. And then DRX beat Sandbox to also get a seed.
No wonder Sandbox is living up to their name and overhauling everything.
Yeah, they pulled a faker. Look at the cleanse. Look at the moves. Ryu's our new head coach. I get no monkey, no nothing, no anything for that one.
Oh no, I'm calculating. Please hold.
That was a full-on ass reference. That counts for one. Calculating my fucking ass mode. Fucking calculating. I gotta figure out how much that was worth. No, that was 24.625. No, it's 25. It is 25. You're gonna change it to 25, or you're yes! Except it's gonna be me doing my best Vince McMahon impersonation, and it'll be real. I'm not drunk enough for you to be high.
Oh, that was a good belly laugh right there. I needed that.
Good, you get all the fucking shit out of your system. Jeez Louise, I feel like I'm doing a fucking episode. I feel like I'm doing an episode of Point of View here.
Who says I can't put more back in my system? Hmm?
Oh, kill me.
I'm gonna delete those, and I'm gonna be glad that I did.
What's the matter? You're the one that uploaded them.
I'm gonna delete those, and I'm gonna be glad that I did. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Oh, yeah. That little musical interlude sponsored by MasterCard.
Breaking news here on the Not a Network. Editor-in-Chief Dr. Manhattan has been sacked. All right, are you done trolling now? We got a show we're kind of in the middle of here.
I mean, you're the one who was like, "Ooh, wait till you do this, and I'm gonna go off on you." I told you I was prepared.
So, Genji versus Namwon Kia. Genji is the dominant powerhouse in Korea. Team 1 can bring him down, sure, because, well, Faker is the GOAT. Look at the clads, look at the moves. Faker lifting his 4th championship trophy. Edward Gaming versus DRX, however. Say hello to the battle of the Deft teams. It's Deft's current team versus Deft's previous team.
So basically, the Deft Cup.
But, yeah. This is kind of the Deft Cup, I guess you could say, yeah. As we all know, Deft was part of EDG from 2014 to 2016. And yeah.
Oh, now you're going into research phase.
I am going into research phase. You got a problem with research phase?
I don't have a problem with research phase.
But I don't know. The Battle of the Deft will. We already talked about Gen G. Get the Generation Trophy out of here. Hashtag Generation Trophy. I mean, Deft was also on Hanwha Life Esports, aka Chovy Life Esports. 2020 to 2021. So last year. I don't know. I don't. This is probably the most coin flippy of them all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at DRX, and yeah, Zika's been on fire. Obviously, Deft's a very good AD carry. Their bot lane strong, their mid lane strong. I'm a little concerned about DRX's top lane. Kingen kind of folds under pressure a little bit, it seems. Piosik has been trying. I think DRX could definitely take this, but it's not going to be easy, right?
Oh, no.
Because you have to look at the side of EDG, right? Viper and Mako are, they're playing pretty good so far this tournament. Scouts had some pop-off moments. Flandre, I think, is definitely the better top laner in this matchup. But we're not seeing a lot of top lane carry playing in this tournament. Top lane has kind of gone back to being, the island and Castaway.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Wilson volleyball, and that's it. Have fun playing with yourself. I'm impressed.
No.
You actually didn't go for that.
Hey, phrase it.
I expected that much. But I think we have to go back, or I think it is time we go back to the number one most anticipated game in this quarterfinal. And that is Royal Never Give Up versus T1. Or sorry, should I go back to should we get in the way back machine for a moment? And, go back to SK Telecom T1K versus the Star Horn Royal Club.
The what?
Star Horn Royal Club.
I thought you said something completely different.
No,
Continue.
No, I will not. Refuse to elaborate. Yeah, Starhorn Royal Club was the predecessor, if you will, to RNG. This is a rivalry that is almost at least as far as League of Legends go, it is as old as time.
Lakers, Celtics, Yankees, Dodgers, Packers, Bears.
Da Bears. If you look at this roster, right? These rosters have changed a lot over the years. Let's be realistic here, right? Maybe we don't have a lot of the same people as we did way back in the day, right? But I will tell you one thing that remains constant in this entire equation. And if you blink or if you fall asleep, you could wake up in a cold sweat having nightmares about him standing behind you. And that is Faker. All right, you son of a bitch. You put any more non-hold numbers on this counter, and I guarantee you your life will be hell on Sunday. Remember, I can be the disembodied voice of. I am the main disembodied voice of Doom on this network.
I'm
my alter
aware.
ego is.
I'm aware, and technically,
that disembodied voice of Doom can show up on any show he wants to, and cause shenanigans.
Okay.
Don't think I won't exercise it.
Said main disembodied voice of Doom knows the schedule.
I do know the schedule. We gotta not do these shows at 2 a.m.
I wasn't the one sitting and waiting out of.
Look, I didn't know we were doing this show today. I thought we were doing this as a stupidly long show tomorrow. RNG versus T1. Again, a rivalry as old as time. Both of them have taken their respective victories and defeats off of each other. But here at the Not a Network, we do the math. Most recently in this rivalry, (3-2) over T1 at MSI in the finals this year.
I remember covering that finals. Yeah, you talk about us doing this late at night.
Let me. Here we go. MSI Day 5 of the Rumble stage.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to T1. They were on red side. Not that it matters, but it's what it says here on the thing. Thank you, Leaguepedia. MSI 2022 Day 2 of the Rumble side. They won over T1. Let's go back a little bit further, shall we? The last time those two teams would face each other Moving backwards, even further backwards. Worlds 2019. Day 7. So we're in the group stages. Yes, Royal Never Give Up was in the same group as SKT back then, Group C. SKT got out of that group at 5-1. RNG were 3-3. They lost both of their round robin games in groups to SKT at Worlds 2019. I would love to go further back than this, but literally it'll only let me go back to the most 200 recent games for RNG as a whole. I'm sure if I go back, yeah, I can go back here. Worlds 2017. They were 3-2'd by SKT in the semifinals. Worlds 2016. They were 3-1'd by SKT in the quarterfinals.
Sensing a small theme here.
MSI 2016. They were 3-1'd by SKT in the quarterfinals. And that's all we got going all the way back to 2015. But did I not say that RNG was preceded by Starhorn Royal Club?
You did?
Three-0'd by SKT in Season 3, 2013. And that's it. That's all I got. Again, a rivalry as old as time that tends to point in the favor of Team 1, historically. This year, yeah, Royal Never Give Up kind of got the drop on them. But that was an MSI. And what do we say about MSI? Especially when it comes to RNG?
It's more of a minor tournament?
No, big giant asterisk.
Oh, that particular part, yes.
Yes. RNG allowing to play remotely on 35 ping with no referee oversight or anything like that. I mean, well, yeah, let's call a spade what it is. If you can only watch one of these quarterfinals this weekend, it is RNG T1. That is where you are going to see RNG at its peak. That is where you are going to see T1 at its peak. And, well, quite frankly, we'll never get another call like Monte Cristo. Look at the cleanse, look at the moves, Faker, what was that? We'll never get another one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's That's for the eternity of time and history, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be damned if I don't say you'll see a highlight reel play, like an all-time highlight reel play in this match.
I mean, if you really think about it, with these two teams, long battles, breaking my crystal ball pick finally, silver scrapes, clutch moment, backs against the wall, Faker's gonna do something, and that'll be one of his really penultimate shining moments as he rides off to a title. Just imagine that. That could happen.
Oh, Faker wins the title this year because, Faker's going to win the title this year. And they go back and play, the moments and memories and stuff. They say, oh, well, what's Faker's best moment of this tournament? That's going to be something in that series. And God, I can only hope. Hope beyond hope. As I apparently eat my beard. Captain Flowers and Azale, please. Put one of the English LCKs on for the TriCast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, please give me Captain Flowers Azale duo for this game on casting. At the very least, please at least let me have Captain Flowers. Like, you want a guy that's going to give you that legendary hype call. That's Flowers. And I'm not saying that to like discredit any of the other casters. All of the casters are fucking fantastic, but I mean, we've already had Faker Shockwave finds them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love another one out of Flowers. RNG is a good team.
They
right?
are.
Only team to win 3 MSI titles.
Mm-hmm.
In a weird way, this is a which tournament's better. The only team to win 3 Worlds titles versus the only team to win 3 MSI titles. Which cup means more?
This could settle debates or ignite them anew.
I think it'll do both.
And to think, Riot, that could have been a Saturday. Should have been your Saturday. Because Sunday, big NFL day, we get that.
Yeah, I would have been okay with Rogue JDG on Sunday as well. But EDG DRX is a pretty good follow-up. Even if it is the Battle of the Defts. Something to note, by the way, the entirety of the RNG roster's contract ends after Worlds.
If that isn't a ... I don't know what is.
Do we have the dramatic doggo in here anywhere? Yes, we do. Yes, indeed, we do. It's going to be an exciting quarterfinal. If you want to see our predictions, we have them available at the. We should get those tweeted off the Not a Network Twitter.
We
We can do that.
we can do that.
Speaking of the Not a Network Twitter, would you like to tell people where they can find that, along with everywhere else?
Absolutely. As I pull the sheet up, yes, the main company Twitter at Not a Network Pods. You can also find us on our own Twitters at the Andesian and at Squid Sportshead. For those of you who are not of twitch.tv/AWP podcast and twitch.tv/Andesian. And if that still isn't enough for you, I don't know why, you can also find us on YouTube. Search Not a Network podcast. We're going to have this shorthand at some point in the future.
That's it, folks. That's the show. Get ready because the tournament's just beginning. We'll be here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, we're still in daylight for another couple of weeks.
Yep.
Bringing you coverage of Rogue versus JDG at some point tomorrow evening. I'm Andesian. That's Dr. Manhattan. Thanks for putting up with our hijinks, for watching, and for listening. We hope you enjoyed this presentation, this bonus episode of Parallel Convergence. We'll see you tomorrow for more Worlds 2022 coverage. Good night.